Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Sheffield Selectboard to order at 7 o'clock, October 3rd, 2022. We want to thank CTSB for recording this for our residents viewing, and also anyone who can record this meeting just upon letting the chair know. Our first order of business tonight is approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve, the minutes for September 15th and 2 sets for September 19th.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Our next order of business is a curb cut request on Root Lane. This is in front of us. It has been signed off by the highway superintendent and the chief of police. Rhonda, anything else on this?
No.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the curb cut of Douglas Pendergrass for Root Lane.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is approval of trick or treat hours. Rhonda, please.
So I talked with Chief Munson, and we would do October 31st from 5 to 7.
I'll make a motion we approve trick-or-treat hours for Halloween night, October 31st from 5 to 7.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think probably at our next meeting, we'll be discussing trunk or treat
I was just going to
hours.
say, I'm not sure exactly what the hours are. I believe it starts at 4, but trunk or treat is going to be held here again on October 28th. The town hall will be open for bathrooms and possibly some treats.
Wonderful. It's nice to see that event back. Our next item, Nadine, I believe this is yours. Discussion and possible action regarding the housing production plan.
So the final production plan was sent to me on Friday. I asked Jill to forward it to the both of you so that you would have it for review. I think we've made every possible formatting correction that could be made. I didn't print it again to make sure that it was as we wanted, but the committee members each had some small recommendations for changes here and there, which I didn't think were any problems at all. So we're ready to submit that to you.
I thought it looked really good. All of the formatting changes did seem to be.
Took me forever to get them all done.
Yeah, but it's not good when you send in formatting changes, and that wasn't your issue.
No.
Was
and I think it was just a matter of, the way that it printed was different than it looked on his screen.
Right.
So I gave him very specific changes.
Yeah, but it also looked to me like it might have even have been divided into more discrete parts.
Yeah.
So it didn't read on forever.
Yeah, I had him do some breaks.
I thought it looked really good.
Good.
I have not read it yet. I only scanned it, so
So what did you think?
just from scanning it, it looks fine.
Great. So we need, what kind of would you like to make the motion, Nadine, because you know pretty much
Sure.
what we want?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we recommend the housing production plan to be approved by the Board of Selectmen and then to be passed on to the planning board.
And then if they approve it, it will go to the state for their review and approval.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I think Nadine and everyone who's been on the committee.
We should mention Kathy Orlando, Frank Gerritsen, Brittany Ebling, and Sari Hoy, and myself. We're the 5 that really stuck through to it with it to the end. We had a few others come and go in the meantime, but I think we have a very good plan in place, and I think it's, reasonable for us.
So did we take a vote on that?
I don't think we voted yet.
Aye.
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 Do you want to make a follow-up announcement on the grant you received?
I don't. If you can remember the details of it, I don't remember the details.
The staff person at BRPC that Nadine and her committee were working with applied for a state planning grant. It was one of 2 that was recently awarded like last week or this weekend, and that will help take the housing production plan the next step. So
I think it was for $25,000.
yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So congratulations on that. All right, Rhonda, I'm going to go back to you for the announcement of road paving in October.
So we have a tentative date of October 12th for some paving to begin in town. Actually, the reclaiming will start first. So the roads that we're going to be working on are County Road, Old Mill Pond Road, the bridge on Sheffield Egremont Road, Lime Kiln Road, and the lower portion of West Road. So these will all be binder course only, and we will put the top on hopefully next year. So people should look for that around the 12th of October.
Okay, great. Our next item is discussion of possible action regarding the marijuana update and also a zoning bylaw amendment. Rhonda, do you want to start with the marijuana update, and then we'll go into the zoning? This had to do with the community impact fees.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, you've been out for a few days, and you've had a long day today, so.
So the board voted at their last working meeting to suspend any payments on the community, the host community agreements until the state can really figure out and make everyone aware and everybody understand what their new regulations and new legislation is going to be. So we've written to everyone and asked them to please withhold any payment for this fiscal year until further notice.
This doesn't affect the excise tax?
No.
Okay. If anybody has questions on that, you can see us afterwards on that, but there's so much confusion going on. Thank you, legislature. The second thing is, in light of what may turn out to be a permanent ban on the collection of community impact fees, the board has considered whether, especially in light of citizens' amendments that have been put forth at town meeting, as well as considerable conversations and input, whether there needs to be any marijuana institutions of any sort added further to the town. We do have 3 retailers, but, we do have room for 3 retailers in our current bylaws. The current bylaws also limit the indoor grow to cultivators to 5, but there's also a large list of other items under which a new company could come in. We are looking at potentially approving tonight an amendment that would go to our lawyers for review, and then to the planning board that would basically outlaw all uses. Those that are here now would be grandfathered, and that's kind of what our discussion is tonight, I think. Correct me if I've got it wrong.
Yeah, no, I think we just need to clarify for the community that what we're looking to do is to put a hold on or a stop to any other marijuana businesses other than retailer at this stage of the game, since that's the only one that the town actually benefits financially from, which was not the case when we started this process. We were benefiting from cultivators and indoor grow operations and, everything else allowed us to collect. But due to the potential changes in the host community agreements, the board felt that it was time to change the bylaw to not allow anyone else to come into Sheffield. And I think that you did a good job on
Thank you.
hacking it up.
Yeah. Bob, did you want to say anything?
Not really. I think our bylaws are strong enough, but this way the voters get their say, and I have no problem with putting it in front of the voters.
Yeah. We would ask town council to review it, and then it would go to the board, the planning board, for their formal reviews, public hearing, etc., and then it would go to the voters for the final say, up or down. I know that there are some members here who have been active on the marijuana issue. I don't know if either of them wanted to make any comment at this time. There's no requirement. Just
Do you want me to speak.
Sure, you have to go and announce your name, your address. You know the drill.
Good evening, everybody. Todd McKenzie from 514 Ranapo Road. Amen to the open-mindedness and to Bob's point, to putting it before voters. I think it's a really pragmatic thing to do, and the timing is right. Nadine, as you had said, it's vastly different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. I have a question, which is, have we heard back yet from the AG on the special town meeting bylaw change from April? Or is that not awfully long to be 6+ months?
Well, we would have expected to hear in September, so I don't think we're that
okay.
far off of what our expectation.
Oh, I thought it was 90 days or something.
We
Okay.
had
So
90
that's
days
still,
to submit, but they were submitted well before the 90. So
okay.
I will check on that again tomorrow, but as of last week, we hadn't heard.
Great. Thank you, Rhonda. And as I said, thank you again. I think your initiative is sound and the right one, and greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
So do you want a motion?
Yes, please.
So I'll make a motion that we approve this presentation of the amendment to the bylaws regarding marijuana establishments in Sheffield to then be sent to legal and then on to the planning board.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have discussion action regarding a one-day alcohol permit. The information is in front of us. We're waiting on insurance.
So subject to the insurance coming in, I would recommend we make an approval of a one-day alcohol permit for a shower on Saturday, October 8th from 1 to 4 at the town park for Tiffany Stevens.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have an update on the highway garage. And Bob, that's yours.
Right. So the highway garage, at this point, the land has been surveyed by our land engineer, Mark Volk, Foresight Engineering. It's been marked out for the driveway and for the site. We've contacted Jim Kelly, who was a forester, to basically mark the trees and figure the lumber usage and what the lumber and timber would be worth, and then we'll move from there to land clearing. And we're also here tonight, which is next on the agenda, to start the selection process for the design, highway design. Highway design
Committee.
Yes, thank you. And that's about it, unless anyone has any questions.
We're making progress.
We are making progress.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. So our next item, as Bob said, is to make appointments to the Designer Selection Committee. This committee, Rhonda, we're expecting our responses back by now the 14th of October?
Yes, I'm going to extend it because I was out unexpectedly last week. I didn't have a chance to submit the questions and answers that came from designers. They were supposed to be due and submitted back to everyone, the plan holders, by the 29th, and so I will do that tomorrow. So I am going to extend the deadline for them to submit their proposals till the 14th. I think it's only fair to give them the extra
Yeah,
dates.
absolutely.
And then the individuals that would be appointed tonight would be on the committee that would choose the actual designer firm.
That would rank.
That would rank, and then it comes to the select board
Yes.
with an in-between to Rhonda for pricing and things of that nature.
Yes.
I think just before we do appointments, from my recollection, Bob, you're on that committee.
Correct.
All right, and that David, do we have a ghost early? From our highway superintendent would be on that committee, and then also you, Rhonda, both of the last two as ex officio.
Yes.
Okay, so we have gotten a very good response. Has everyone had a chance to, I think, what did we agree? It would be 5 members?
We did, but I'd like to make a suggestion that we increase the number from 5 to 6, with Bob serving in one of those roles. We've got 5 very good candidates. I would hate to say no to anybody.
Okay, that makes sense.
Especially since it's a matter, the job is to rank. There's not
Yes.
going to be a tie in a vote. So I say that we would just go ahead and appoint the 5 that have applied.
And if we have any problems, we'll be back to you. We'll give our ex officios. Okay. So Rhonda, would you like to read off who has now been appointed?
Sure. So we have Danny Watson, Mary Deming, Frank Clark, Robbie Cooper, and Rick McDowell.
So may we have a motion to appoint those named?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And since it's now been delayed a week, I would expect that you'd probably be in touch with them maybe around, the members of the committee, maybe around the 17th, 21st to set up somewhere around there for the first meeting. Okay, wonderful. As Nadine said, we are moving ahead. The next item is discussion possible action on a community compact IT grant. I do have a draft letter. We discussed this a little bit the other day. This is, I do not want to be rushing this. This grant, though, is due on Friday at noon. This is an opportunity we discussed to take our records out of paper format and make them a little bit more useful for both people who need to have access to them, like our town employees, for record requests, formal record requests, and this is just a letter of support. Now, to go with the grant that Ron and I have been discussing, and we'll be discussing more before it goes in on Friday. I had, according to the last time we applied for this grant and got it, and then gave it back because we did not do that technical project. They have now changed a little bit of the format, so there is a box on there of is the town willing to commit to 25% of the grant request. So my $5,000 in matching funds is going to be way low. Rhonda and I have discussed this, and I have been unable to decide whether, through the people that read this, whether it's a 5-pointer or a 10-pointer or, a tiebreaker. They won't give me any information except that this is a factor considered in the grant application. I think this grant, from the information I have now, we might be submitting a grant. It's a little loosey-goosey right now, but I think I would not be surprised if we submit something near $100,000. Okay? And this is, just to get rid of all the paper.
Yeah.
Plus what's up there, and okay, it might be a little higher. I'm getting the estimates in now, and 25% of that we can do the math. However, I'd like the board to think about, we would request that staff time and any senior work-off time, anyone that would be involved in the kind of prepping the documents before they go to be scanned and digitized would count in that rather than just a monetary number. If we don't get the grant, at some point we're going to have to do this on our own, okay? And we wouldn't be able to apply for, another year. But so those are kind of some of my thoughts on this. So I wish I could tell you exactly what it will cost, but I'm not quite that far along yet.
Well, I'm not surprised with the number at all, given our conversation about the magnitude of this project and having been involved in digitizing.
Yes, exactly.
Having been involved with digitizing documents at the banking level many years ago, I'm not surprised at the $100,000.
Don't hold me to that.
No, I'm not, but I'm not surprised. And I do think that it's way better that it comes to us via a grant than us ultimately having to do it ourselves. I think your idea of using staff time to help offset.
I will ask for that.
Sure, absolutely.
But, they may not agree, but.
But I agree with the ask.
Okay.
Other than that, we're going to be, committing ourselves to $25,000 plus or minus in actual monies.
Which we could use the ARPA funds for, I believe, Rhonda, is that Is that correct?
So how long is this grant, Renee?
Once if we were awarded, it'd be up to 18 months. We can get a lot done in 18 months.
We could, but I'm wondering when the town portion would kick in and we could add it. If you wanted to do more than the 5,000, add it to the budget next year under technology.
What I'm looking for is either, yes, we're going to commit up to 25, or no, we'll do something else. Any way we want to do it, I can write it.
I think this is a fairly easy one to go along with. The 25,000 is a small portion if we have to go
25%. Could be less.
Correct.
Could be.
And
Even at that level, it's still,
I agree, but that's a lot of money too.
it is.
You know, maybe if you went to 10 with staff time.
If
I
what?
mean, if you took you doubled what you have in your letter and said 10 plus staff time and other people who are going to be
Then
working.
again, they'll read the application, but I can't check that box.
Oh, all right.
so I think I would like to make the recommendation that you do check that box and that we make the commitment financially and hope that they will take Renee's suggestion. But at the very least, we cannot continue to accumulate the paper that we've that we've been collecting for, several hundred years now. It isn't going to go away, and
it would make it so much more easy for the staff to get their hands on records.
well, and it's ongoing. It's for the future. I mean, these documents are not going to last forever in hard copy. They're just not. So I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and submit the letter agreeing to the 25% of the grant request. And I would love for you to put the suggestion in that staff time goes towards it, but if not, we're willing to.
Well, I'll put it in, whether they accept it or not. I don't have
I understand.
all we can do is ask, but
Yep.
if we don't ask, we will never get, okay? And,
But I think this is a very important part of our town getting into the right phase in document storage in a more advanced technology
There's
than paper and
also,
folders.
I've had a very serendipitous week, plus working on this, and through a very roundabout way, through several towns, I ended up in Lee, and who has used King Systems for part of their documents and Maverick for the rest, and their new town manager told me about a wonderful system that would also allow the potential for a public view of certain documents like minutes. And lo and behold, when I have talked with them, and we finally talked today after a weekend of mad emailing, they are the system that I was so impressed with, but that system is out of Utah. These folks have just become a business partner. So I think it's going to be more than scanning.
Great.
I think it's actually going to be more than scanning and then going to a box. But we have some more work to do. So I'm going to take that as a great motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Rhonda, you're back up with the award on the highway road materials bid.
Okay, so this is for stone, gravel, winter sand, and we had 3 responses. One was high on everything, and so they're not included in this. So the 2 companies that are going to be awarded different things depending on the price. So if you'd like, what I'll do is I'll start with one company and list everything that is the low bidder on for this material, and then you can vote on that, and then I'll go back and do the other, if that'll work for you. Okay?
Sounds good.
So this is for Century in Connecticut. So 3/8" crushed stone, 3/4" crushed stone, 1 to 1.5 inch crushed stone, 3" minus crushed stone, crushed stone dense grade mix, the 3", the 1 1/4 to 1.5", and the 3/4 inch, riprap, and fill, and topsoil, and grit that is picked up. Century was the low bidder on all of those.
Motion to award the bid to Century on all of the items that you listed.
Second.
Any discussion for the discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The second company we have is Sagala, and so that is 1 to 1.5 inch washed stone, processed gravel 3 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 to 2.5 inch, 3/8 inch crushed coarse winter sand, and grit that is delivered.
I'll make a motion that we award the bid to Sagala Sand and Gravel as you stated.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Rhonda. Bob, let's start with you. Any board items?
No,
Nope.
nothing.
Oh, wait a minute, number 12, you skipped
Would I
number
skip
12.
12?
Award equipment bids.
Okay, award equipment bids. Sorry.
That's
Thank
okay.
you, Nadine.
You're
Rhonda?
welcome. We gotta help each other here.
So we also had 4 pieces of equipment that we had out on municipal bid. And so the first one is a York rake. The winning bidder was Gary Warner, and that sold for $1,400. Do you want to do them all in one big group, or do you want to do them individually?
How would Jill like it in the minutes? Individual? You don't
One
care?
motion for all?
Yeah.
The second thing we had was a 3-point hitch rotary mower. Also, Gary Warner was the high bidder for $1,000. We had a Husqvarna mower that went to Stephen Feeney. He was the high bidder for $1,000. And then we had a Hallmark trailer that went to Ronald Pomerick for $1,900.
So I make a motion that we award each of the pieces of equipment to the highest bidder as Rhonda has stated.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we're to board member items. How about you, Bob?
Nothing.
How about you, Nadine?
I don't have anything right now.
I just have a few items, I'm sorry. The transfer station has finally received its bulky rigid plastic container, and if you haven't seen it, it's beautiful. It's red metal, it's gorgeous, right, Frank?
Yes.
Thank you, Frank.
Gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. I could live in there.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Oh, no, I don't even think, I think there's 2 items in it as of last week. It's really quite lovely. Yeah, and it's going to have Sheffield stenciled on the side of it. Frank and Jimmy have been very wonderfully giving out handouts as to what's accepted and not, and Jill updated our website for recycling and solid waste, and so you can go on that website and see all the items you can bring and those that you can't bring. So thank you, Jill, for that. There's a new blue button for bulky rigid plastic. There also are some changes being made in the number of transfer station coupons required for some items. And mostly, I think it sorts itself out to a sectional couch is now at 3, and also that the transfer station attendants have the ability to ask you for coupons other than just 1 or 2, depending on the size of the item being put into the bulky waste bin. The reason for this is that the town is getting charged a lot for those oversized items, and we just want to make sure that we're trying to recoup our costs. Rhonda, do you want to add anything to that?
Just want to talk about tires. It appears some tires ended up in that box the last time it was dumped, automobile tires. So we just have to make sure that everyone's aware that we do not take them. And that costs us a lot of money too.
Yeah, I think tires, from what I've understood after talking with Barbado, bicycle tires, little tires that you take off your rigid plastic containers can go in that. There's no problem there. It's just tires, vehicle tires. Those can usually, something can be worked out with a tire dealer, and you have to pay, but usually they're recycling a lot of tires anyway, so I would talk with them. Frank?
Anybody that wants to take tires can go to Lennox Transfer and Waste, they take them.
Well,
Tires with rims or without.
okay, now that wasn't recently acquired by Casella, was it?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It was?
Valley was.
No, they acquired Lennox, because that Lennox used to take propane tanks, and Casella acquired them. And no Moss, no more. So, I think Seward's, I've had a conversation with her if they have a load going and there's room, but it's just to be worked out individually. The prices were very reasonable when I checked, but yeah, Casella has acquired them too. The other thing is that the coupons, the change in coupons will be effective on Friday, just to make sure that everybody has a chance to be aware of them. And coupons can be purchased here or online. So the other thing I just wanted to mention was that we're still working on the Complete Streets project, and that was the sidewalks. We also, people may have noticed the new sidewalk at the library. That was the speed signs, that was the flashing blinkers on Berkshire School Road. And this was bid by the same firm and gentleman who bid our first shared streets. So we have money left over, okay, in the Complete Streets project. So we are asking for an extension for another 6 months, and also whether we could consider doing the Village Center green sidewalk in front of the merchants, as well as in front of the senior center, to provide a cutout where people come into the building rather than making them go to the two ends, and also possibly some additional speed signs. There's been some requests for them at different parts of the community. So if anyone has an objection, let me know, but that's what we were going to request of the person who runs the program, and we've got a letter from Rhonda on that. Are we good?
Yes.
Rhonda, you're up.
I don't have any.
Public speak. Does anyone have something that they would like to bring comment-wise to the board that's under their control? All right, then what I'm going to do is ask for a motion to go into executive session.
That got delayed a little bit too, Renee, so we don't need the executive session.
So I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone who's here tonight and those who watch on CTSV. This meeting is adjourned.